Hi patrons, it's been a long time. I hope you're all keeping very well. It's lovely to see you all again and to paint for you again. Now, this week I'm going to do something which I promised one of you for ages and ages, and I just did not get around to doing it because I was so busy trying to catch up on tutorials for my channel. But it's for Kathy, who is a very good supporter of mine. I promised you ages ago, Kathy, that I would do this for you. So yes, I think it's in Utah, if I'm correct. I should have checked now before I started on this, but I think it's in Utah. It's a lovely picture of this kind of an outhouse, a kind of a farmhouse out in the middle of the desert sort of a thing. So yes, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to painting this for you today. I hope you like it. Again, thank you all so much for being so supportive to me and so patient, most importantly, because I just had a lot of stuff going on these past couple of weeks. I'm trying to re-upload videos, I'm trying to do new videos, changing the names of my channel, changing my Facebook page, adding a new Facebook page. There's an awful lot of stuff going on, and I'm trying to work a full-time job as well at the same time, so it's really tough. I look tired. I know I look very tired this morning, but I was up early. I said, yeah, I'm going to do a video for my patrons today because you deserve it. I know I'm missing out on tutorials, and it's just not fair, and I want to just let you know that I'm thinking about you, alright? So look, without further ado, let's crack on and have a bit of fun with this. Lots of lovely earthy colours in this, and I think you're going to like it actually. So let's crack on and have a bit of fun with this, yeah? Don't go anywhere. Okay, there we go. There is the photograph, and I am sure that is Utah. I think it is alright. I'll put it up in the description at the end of the video anyhow, okay? So right, I have a quick little sketch done here, and I'm going to crack on. I'll tell you my colours. I have titanium white, Naples yellow, burnt umber, a little crimson, some burnt sienna, a little magenta, and I have a little phthalo blue and some black. A nice limited palette, some nice earthy colours going on there. So there we are, there's a sketch, a lovely little, what would you call it? I can't think of the correct term for these buildings, but there you go. Very nice. So I'm really looking forward to painting this. Now, there's a bit of work in this, so let's crack on. Right, I'm thinking a nice simple sky. So I have some turpentine here. I'm going to dip my brush in, and I'm going to, let me show you, dip my brush in, soak my brush, and just dry it a little bit, okay? Let's take some white. Now this will thicken up very quickly again, so you may have to keep adding little bits of turpentine just with the corner of the brush. Look, I'm picking up little bits and just to thin it out slightly as I go. And let's take a little touch of phthalo blue. The tiniest little touch is all you need, the tiniest little touch, because it goes very far. Now, phthalo blue is a nice kind of it almost has a hint of a greeny hue. And when I say greeny hue, it's more of an earthy kind of a blue. It's not a rich, vibrant blue like French ultramarine or cobalt even. It just has this very subtle blue tone. When it's mixed with white, it's lovely. It's very soft on the eye, and it's very easy to work with. Now, let me just put a little bit of blue here and there, because I'm going to get some nice cloud up here in this. So look, I'm just kind of dotting this around here and there. Now on the photograph, if you're looking, you can see it's more of, I would say more of a kind of a cobalt blue. Now I didn't want to use cobalt blue, I didn't want to overpower the colours coming down. So I take a little phthalo blue and I might add to that a touch of crimson, okay? Just a little touch. Just here and there, look. Let's go right across here all together. See, you kind of keep changing your mind as you go, don't you? Things change. Now I picked up a little bit of white. I'm going to put a bit of white into that, and I'm going to dampen my brush because it's getting quite dry, and I'm going to dry it on my tissue like this, just to give it a quick clean. And then I'm going to go into some white again, and I'm going to come along. So we have a nice distant blue now off of the distance, okay? Now let me take a tiny bit more turpentine with the corner of my brush again, and take a little bit more white. I'm just going to go around roughly those hills. Okay, very, very roughly, just very loosely. Look, don't be too fussy. You can even go over some of the pencil lines as well if you like. In fact, I always do go over my pencil lines because the turpentine helps remove the pencil lines as well as you're painting. Now, so there we are now, right? We have that lovely light blue at the bottom and a darker blue on top. And then, what I'm going to do is simply just add some clouds. I'm going to take a smaller brush, right? My medium stubby. Let's go for the medium. I'm just thinking now, is that splayed out? I need something that's kind of splayed out a bit more. Let me see what I have here now. Let me just have a fast look at my brushes. I think this will just have to do. Yeah, this will do fine. I have another one here. It's the same size, but it's just a lot more worn. Alright? A dry brush. Let's take some white. And let's just go up here and start adding some clouds. Now let me make sure you can see this all right. You can. I'm just going to go around little circular motions and then pushing the white up into the blue, you see? And then the same at the bottom. And in fact, at the bottom, I'm going to soften it into the blue completely. See? So now we have another nice little cloud floating across. All you want to see is the top edge. That's the edge that I want to show on the cloud. Alright? Now if you want to soften it in here and there you can. It's up to yourself. In fact, I'll soften it in as it comes across. Look. Into that blue. See? Just give it, brush a little clean there now, to keep it nice and clean. And let's come down and do another one in front of that, or underneath that. And we're going to soften that back into the blue as well. Isn't this fun? Nice simple clouds. And the reason I just left that bit of white there was just to help, just to make it easier to cover, rather than trying to go over lots of blue. Okay, there we go. Now, there's a bit of a separation there between the light and the dark blue, which I'm not happy with. So I'll just take a bit of white and pop a cloud in there, look. Let's just pop a cloud in. And that'll take away that line then, you see? There we are. And that's a nice simple sky done. I think we should just leave it at that because we're focused on this. This is where all the detail is going on. Next I'm going to start with my hills. And I'm going to use the same brush. I'll just give it a quick clean. So dip it in my turpentine and give it a good dry on this tissue. And that pretty much cleans my brush. And let's have a look at the colour. Now, it's a very orangey colour, but I can see, looking at the photograph there, I can see hints of a mauve in that, just in some of the shadows. Those touches of Naples yellow, and I can also see a lot of burnt sienna. So let's just use that now and go with that. Let's try. Let's take some burnt sienna, a lot of it. Let's go down here and mix everything in the same spot, okay? Just, it makes things easier. And let me see now. I'm going to take some burnt umber as well. Burnt sienna, burnt umber, and I'm going to take a touch of, now that pinky colour you can see in the cliffs, I'm going to go with some magenta for that, because the magenta will mix with the burnt sienna and give us that warm pinky browny kind of a tone. Understand? I'll take a good bit of that, don't be shy. And then, just to take the vibrancy out of that colour, I might add a touch of Naples yellow. A little touch, look, okay? And what that will do is just tone it down very slightly and take the richness from the colour. Let's see now. You could even, if you wanted that, use a little touch of white. If you don't have Naples yellow, a little touch of white. And that will just make it a sort of chalky kind of a colour. Now let me just try it first. Okay, now, see, it's still a bit rich, so I'm just going to take a little turpentine to thin it slightly. More Naples yellow and more white. And now that's really starting to thin it out, isn't it? And if you feel it's even still too rich in colour, you could take a touch of black. A tiny little touch of it. And that will also tone down the tone just a little bit for you. Now it's a little on the dark side, but I will be putting some lights in this as well. So I think it's pretty okay for a medium sort of in between kind of a colour. Alright, so let's call this a kind of a base coat. Now a little bit more Naples yellow, because it is really kind of soft and pale, and I'm going to go along and just suggest the ridges. Now it's not going to be perfect because it's just a tutorial. I don't want to be going to too much trouble to get this absolutely spot on, but you know, we'll try and get it looking some way similar to what we have. There's a very bright patch up here, so we'll do that later. Now let's bring all this down. So pull it down in the direction of the hill, okay? And that tells you which direction the rock is kind of falling in. I'm going to take a touch more black into this and some Naples yellow, and it's almost kind of turning into more of a grey sort of a tone here and there. So I'm going to put a bit of grey there and take a little bit of white as well, and down here there's this kind of a grey bushy kind of a colour, so I'm going to soften that colour in just at the bottom. So I took a little bit of black, a bit of white and a bit of Naples yellow, and I'm going to soften that colour in as that tip comes down, see? Now if a word about your colours getting muddy and messy, just tip your brush in your turpentine and give it a good dry on your tissue. Look, and that just cleans the mud off of your tissue. I'm going to carry on over here. Let's get some more of that nice colour, and let's come across. It comes up there, does this little point, and then down. Now, so let's just fill this in here now, right down to the roof. Like so. And we come across, we do the same over here. I'm going to take some Naples yellow, some burnt sienna, just for that, and bring that down. So I'm just getting kind of the base colour in first. That's kind of what I do when I paint scenes like this. I look at a colour and I think, well, that's sort of in between light and dark, so I go with that, and I use that then and put my lights and my darks into that. Okay, so you can see now what we have. We have sort of the basic outline. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's okay for what we want. Now, I'm going to take a smaller flat brush, and this is where it gets interesting. I will take another flat brush, even a small stubby, okay, nice small stubby brush, and I'm going to start putting in some darks, okay. I'm going to mix a nice kind of a mauve for a dark, so I'm going to take some blue, phthalo blue, and a little touch of crimson, and we want this now on the warm side, so let's even try a touch of magenta as well. So all three, okay, blue, magenta and a bit of crimson. And we want this to be nice and warm, so let's even try like a touch of white in there, because I don't want it very, very dark. It's not going to be really dark, do you understand? So again, a bit more of the red. I can see that lovely kind of warm pink undertone in there. Take a bit of Naples yellow, and let me just try this now and see how it looks. And I'm just going to go for some of the shadowed areas. So like this up here, it kind of has a lot of shadow on it, doesn't it? So I'm just going to sort of pull that down and put little flicks on the canvas, you see? That's all I'm doing. I'm suggesting little ridges. You see? I'm just pulling it down, and I don't know if you want me to zoom in on this or not, but you can kind of get the idea, can't you? I'm just kind of flicking the brush, just small little flicks here and there. It's just in the darker areas, just to catch your eye. And you see, it's only a suggestion, that's all. You don't have to go to any trouble to try and paint lots of detail in cliffs like this, because they're off in the distance. And I think they are. I think they're kind of very far off, so I would rather go with just an impression of the shadows instead of trying to paint every single shadow in absolutely perfectly. There's a couple of nice ones up on the top here, isn't there? And we can put a few down. Yeah, let's bring a few on down. It's kind of developing now, isn't it? And again, just keep it nice and simple. And it's even kind of, I suppose, it's sort of a hit and miss. I'm kind of dabbing and I'm missing the canvas here and there as well in places. It's that type of technique, you see? I'm just kind of hitting and missing. Now there's a lot of pink over here, isn't there? So I'm going to add a bit more pink into it just here. And just suggest a bit more of that pinky colour on the cliff, just around here. Because it's a lovely colour, isn't it? And then I just take my soft blender brush, very soft brush, anyone will do. I'm just going to kind of soften that colour in to the cliff. Whichever way you like, just as long as you soften out the colour, just a little. And pull some of these down as well while we're at it. Soften the ends. Okay. There. Now we have some of the darks in, don't we? Next we have some lights. Let's give our brush a clean. Our lovely small stubby brush. There we go. And let's take, now we want to kind of complement the colours. So I'm going to go for Naples yellow. I think a touch of white, and I might take a touch of magenta, because that will complement the pinky colour that we have here. That will really complement this colour. Now watch what happens. Let's go with this look. Let's a little bit of light in here. Okay. So I'm going to put the light just next to some of the darks, because that will really, so here for example, you see, really show off the darks then a bit better, you see. We put a couple along here. And I'm not going to overdo this. We have a very light spot up on top of this hill here, don't we? So let's keep cleaning our brush now, make sure it's nice and clean. That's the secret, I'd say, just keep your brush nice and clean in between colours. So everything is a suggestion, alright? Everything is just a suggestion. Right, you can use your finger look to soften colours together. Sometimes your fingers are the best tools, they're the best, they're even better than brushes sometimes. So don't forget about that, okay? I'll add a touch of light just along here and there. And I'm not going to overdo the lights. I might just add another little bit around in here. It is quite light, so I just took a little bit of Naples yellow there, okay? And I'm going to soften it. There's that lovely kind of light spot there almost. I think, looking at it closely, I think there was a bit of subsidence there and the cliff just kind of gave way. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on here as well. So let's just soften it up there into the cliff, okay? And we also have a lovely little mist as well, don't we? Now, isn't that lovely? There's one more step to this now that I want to do. and that is some nice rich dark colours. So let's take a nice small pointy brush. Let's take some burnt umber, a little touch of black. Okay, just those two colours, and I can see some really nice darks, they're really kind of catching the eye. So for example, along some of the tops there are some really nice dark colours. Couple in there, and this now is just suggesting a little bit of detail as well. See? A bit up there, kind of catching that. Now, isn't that nice now? It's coming on lovely, isn't it? Little tiny kind of a corner, a crevice in there. And we'll do a few more of these crevices. There's a nice dark spot in there too, isn't there? And you see, when you put it next to the light, it really kind of stands out, doesn't it? So, basically, painting is just a series of lights and darks helping each other out. And when you think about it, that's all painting is. Isn't that right? Lights and darks helping each other out, creating a scene on a canvas. Put a few up in there. Again, just to suggest the direction of the cliff sort of falling down, and then pull them down into the soft colour then. There. Now I'm not going to overdo it, I just want to keep it simple. I think as a backdrop now that is absolutely fine. That is perfectly acceptable. Yes? Now let's continue on. We have some nice little bushes across there. So I'm going to find a nice brush now for those bushes, and I'm thinking something like this. A really worn flat brush. Okay? Really very badly worn. And I think simply let's take a little touch of black, and let's take lots of white and lots of Naples yellow, because the black and the Naples yellow will give a slightly green tone. Alright, a very pale green kind of an undertone. And let's just try that. There, you see? And I'm very gently going to dab. Look, will I zoom in for you for this? Because I think I'm very far away there, you can't see what I'm doing. Now, is that better? Right, let me show you what I'm doing. Now let's take plenty of Naples yellow in this, because again, plenty of yellow will complement up here. Right, my brush is loaded with paint, and I'm just basically dabbing the very tip of the brush around in kind of circles, you see? Dab, 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 off into the distance. And come along here. Let's go slightly higher with some of the trees. Okay, just simply nice and simple. That's all you have to do. Just like that. And when you get to the bottom, we can take even a touch more black. So I'll take more black now in the bottom, and I'll take a touch more yellow, and perhaps a touch of brown as well. A touch of burnt umber. And that will give me this colour I need over here then, you see? Now this will be kind of very off in the distance as well over here. So I'm going to almost soften it in just a little. And bring it on down then. Just fill in along the side of that. Now I'm going to take a little burnt umber and add that to the mix. I'm going to just add a little bit of darkness to the bottom of these trees. Just here and there, look. It's a little bit of darkness. And that will give you a nice kind of separation as well for the road. Now, perhaps a bit more black. There we go. Soften it in just here and there. And I'll also dab some black over in this corner as well. A little bit of black with a little burnt umber perhaps. And I'd suggest kind of lots of trees and stuff off in the distance over here on the left hand side as well. Dab, 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 dab. Just moving it around in kind of semicircular motions. And then leave it go off into the distance nice and gently. Okay? Now, there we go. Now I will lighten the one on the right again just a little bit, I'll put an extra bit of light just in front of some of those blacks because it's a little on the dark side, isn't it? Would you agree? So a bit of Naples yellow with white and just lighten some of those again. You see? If you don't like it, you can just change it. No big deal. And there we are. Job done. Now we have a little bit of light in front of that, don't we? So I'm just going to take some Naples yellow. I'll take a bit of that burnt sienna that we used. And it's a sort of a sandy colour, isn't it? A little touch of the dark colour. So it's a very sort of a muddy, a light kind of a pale muddy colour. I'm just going to come along and put that in there. So we also shape our road as well as we're going, see? How about that? Good? Right, let me see now what are we going to do next. I think we'll put in the road next, because as we're on this side and the camera is zoomed in, I might as well crack on with the road, yes? Now, I'll go back again so you can see what I'm doing with my colours. Alright? Now, there we go. Sorted. I'll go back to my rough brush and I'm going to make a nice warm grey. And again, same colours, a little bit of black, a little bit of white, and some Naples yellow. So the black and the white give us the grey, but the Naples yellow just kind of tones it down slightly and it helps blend into everything else around it because we're using the same colours throughout the painting, you see? So it's a nice warm grey now. And that's what we want. And it's a little on the thin side, it's not very, very thick, okay? So nice and creamy. And again, as I keep saying about the brush strokes, keep your brush strokes in the direction that they're moving. That's very important. So follow the road around. Don't go left and right, don't go up and down. Follow that direction of that road. And that gives you that movement. Now, a little bit more white. And it really lightens up, doesn't it, down in the corner, down here. There we go. Bit more white. So I'm picking up thick colour now, you see, just adding it to the canvas. And it's mixing on the canvas then. So a nice bright little section around here, and I'm going to soften it up and kind of turn it as well. See, I'm following that road going around. And that's what it's all about. So now you can see the direction of the road curving, can't you? And you can even leave some of those brush strokes as well. You don't have to smoothen all this out and make it nice and smooth. Just leave the brush strokes on the canvas. Okay? There we go. Now this is great because we're working wet into wet, and working wet into wet is lovely because everything sort of merges together. There's no harsh lines or anything like that. So let me take a little bit of Naples yellow, I think, just 1 second. Now we have a little white line, don't we? Or a yellow line. So I'll take a little Naples yellow and a touch of crimson. That'll just warm it slightly. And let's put in those yellow lines. And that will really tell us then immediately which way the road is going. So it kind of comes in from out here somewhere very slightly, and it kind of comes off then like that, doesn't it? Now we'll make it nice and thick over here. And then lift off. So everything now is kind of softening in together, you see? And it's only a suggestion, that's all. There we are. Okay? Now that's even enough just to tell you it's going around in a curve. Are we going well with this? I hope you're enjoying this now, Kathy. Right. We also have some fences over here, don't we? So let's get some burnt umber, a touch of black, nice thick paint, and a point on your brush. And let's suggest some small suggestions of little fences coming around, getting bigger as they come forward. And we've a couple of small ones off in the distance. It's just to suggest that they're there, that's all. And a couple going across this way. And you can use your palette knife for this as well if you like. Just to get a nice sharp edge. There we go. Now, that's that. Okay, nice and simple. Simply done. Right. Let's move on to the barn and small stubby brush. I'm going to take some Naples yellow, a little white and some burnt umber. And I think I might just use that colour now for the roof. Perhaps a bit more white. It's a very luminous white colour, isn't it? And let's put in the roof like that. So you can see the importance now of using the same colours throughout a painting. It ties everything together, doesn't it? Let's take a little, I'm going to try a little bit of black in that, just to darken this on one side, and then kind of soften it across. Does that make sense? And let's go down here, across this one as well. Okay. Fill that in. Then take again a little bit of brown, a bit of black, and I'm going to just darken that very slightly. Now you can use a pointy brush for this if you like. See? I might even do the same up here. Just suggesting bits of timber on the roof, you see? That's all. Very light suggestion. Nothing fancy. Then we come down to the front and the sides, and this is nice warm colours. I must get some Naples yellow on my palette. Okay. And let's take some Naples yellow, let's take some burnt sienna and some burnt umber. Those three lovely warm colours. Okay? And let's fill this in. Perhaps a bit more burnt umber in this. A little bit darker. Yeah, I'm going to go a lot darker because to separate that from the hill in the background. There we go. And just fill all this in down the side. Now, how about that? That's quite nice, isn't it? A bit more burnt sienna now, and let's go across. Now I'll go across the roof first in this way, just to get a nice clean line, okay? Then I'll pull it down. Let's put a bit of Naples yellow into this. So that's giving us lots of different colours, lots of different hues and tones. A little bit more. Everything is down, okay? Vertical brush strokes all the time. And I'm even using a thick brush. It's not a pointy brush by any means, but still, I'm still getting some nice effects of timber. coming down, aren't they? Okay, let's add a bit in here. See? Isn't that lovely? And let's go along the side as well. So the side is going to be lighter because the sun is coming from the left. But let's add a little tiny bit of dark just here and there as well. Just a little, look, just a tiny touch of it. And we're going to then get a small pointy brush, take some burnt umber with some black, and I'm going to give a nice shadow under the roof, okay? So look, we'll fill this side of the roof in first. There's a nice little separation there from the mountain, and then we go in underneath this one and give it a nice dark shadow underneath that there, okay, under the eave of the roof. And we go along under this one as well. So that tells us there's a nice big overhang on the roof, and you could even, with your brush, just suggest a couple of darks as well, here and there, particularly up on top. Let's make it nice and dark up on top. We're getting there now, aren't we? Isn't this lovely? There we go. And we just go across here with this. Just look at the photograph and see where you need to put your darks. And one just there. Okay. Now how's that looking? Wonderful, I would say. Let's take some black now and put a little window in here. Small window. Okay. There we go. How about that? Simple rectangle. Nothing fancy. Okay, we're going to move on and do this lovely ground all around this lovely cabin here. So, right, let's take our medium rough brush. Any medium flat kind of a rough brush will do, yeah. I'm just using this one because it has a good body and it can really kind of fill loads of paint into this brush. And they're only soft synthetics, okay? They're not bristle at all. Right, a nice colour for this. Let's try some sienna. And let's go for some Naples yellow. And let's also go for a little touch of burnt umber. And then I'm going to put some white into that. But again, that will give us a nice sandy kind of a colour. Now, I want to go similar to this. So that's a little bit rich now for me. I'm just going to get some more white from my palette, okay? I'm out of white. And let's start again. So I'll just give this a rub on some tissue, get some of that colour off. Let's take some white in there, and let's take a good bit of brown then as well. Now I'd say even brown and white would have done. So we have a bit more of a natural kind of a colour going on now, don't we? And we could even take another bit of white into that. I want this very kind of bright, sort of a bright grey, sandy type of a hue. You see what I mean? Now that's a little better. That's what I was kind of aiming to get the first time. Go around the cabin just nice and gently. Now let's fill this in first, and then we can add some darkness and some light here and there. So again, this is my, let's call it a base colour. I'm taking a touch of black into that, just to give it a more natural kind of a colour. And my canvas is quite dry, so I'm having to sort of really scrub this colour into my canvas, but that's fine, I don't mind. And I'm going to soften it off. Let's just go up here into the distance like so, and let's continue on now around here with this. And this painting is really coming on lovely, I think. I'm very, very happy with the result so far. Thank you very much, Kathy. And again, Kathy, I do apologise for not getting this up sooner. I was just very, very busy trying to sort stuff out with my channel and trying to catch up on lots of old requests which I had promised people months and months and months ago. You know, so look, I'm back on track. And again, thank you so much for your support. It really means a huge amount to me. You have no idea. It really does help me to buy my materials, paints, all that kind of thing. And it gives me the push to keep going as well, which is very important. Now I'm going to take some black and some brown and just kind of put some black and some brown around here and there. And another thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to take my fan brush, right? Just get a fan brush, a nice soft fan brush, and I'm going to start adding some texture to this. So I'm going to go with some white first and a little Naples yellow. Okay, plenty of that on the tip of your fan brush, right? And let's just start dab, 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 some texture. It's just giving you that kind of rough, sandy look. And I'm going to leave it disappear off into the distance then, just a little, alright? Like that. Giving us that nice colour. See? And I can turn it around. You can even add little dots of colour to it. Take a bit of white with some black. You can kind of alternate the colours a little. And even under, just here in that line where it's a sharp line, you could almost kind of soften them together just a little if you wanted to. See? Just to take the kind of the harshness out of the lines, so they're not all completely sharp lines. You see what I mean? And now I'm going to start adding some more sort of grassy effects, so some burnt umber with Naples yellow again, and you could just go flick, flick, flick. See? Start flicking it up here and there. And don't overdo this, it's just a suggestion. How about even a bit of black? And you could put a couple of little black flicks just here and there. You see what I mean? It's just giving you that little bit of roughness. Now we could add a slight hint of green if you wanted to. I can see a slight hint of green around here, so a little bit of blue and some Naples yellow. That'll give you a nice cool green. Then we'll add a little touch of sienna to that. And you see, that's keeping them with all the earthy kind of tones that we have in the painting. You see, I'm just kind of adding little hints of a greeny kind of a hue. Now you don't have to do this if you don't want to, really. It's just, I just like that kind of colour. It sort of complements the browns. It complements everything else in the photograph. Now, give it a clean. That's all I want. I'll take some more of this Naples yellow now with a little bit of green in it, and I'm going to just dot that around here and there, okay? Because it's really a lovely colour. And it's just making it look nice and rough, you see, that's all. No big deal. We can, with our little brush, little pointy brush, take some burnt umber, and I suggest a couple of little rocks and things like that lying around the place, here and there. And I'm only just kind of making little marks with my brush, just little bits. Nothing, I'm not trying to paint every individual little rock. It's just a little suggestion of bits and pieces in the photograph. Look, there's a suggestion of a little door, a bendy kind of a door there. Just very rough, very loose. Couple of little spots. How about we put a little ladder? A suggestion of a ladder here. Okay? You see, small things like that. I'm going to add a touch of light just in here. Just give that a little bit of life. Okay, now, fences. We have lots of fences, don't we? Lots of fences here and there. So just soften this here, just take the sharp look off of that, okay? And it's nice when it kind of merges together because it kind of almost disappears off into the distance, doesn't it? Right, nice fences. Okay, I suppose we could use this brush still. And let's start off now with, I suppose we'll have to go with a nice dark colour first. So we go with some black, plenty of turpentine in this, and some brown. And I can then add highlights as I need to. So let's start with some fences here. We have one there, just very general, you don't have to be perfect with this. I'm not copying everything exactly, and let's put a couple of straight ones across between each one. And again, they don't have to be perfectly straight, there can be a bit of a bend here and there in them. See? Now do you want me to zoom in slightly? Because I'm only using black and brown for most of this, okay? Let me just adjust the camera there. So black and brown, that's all I'm using. And then we have one, now there's a lot of stuff going on around here, isn't there? So let's just make it look really busy. Do you understand? Don't try and pick out all the details because it'll get very confusing. And you'll end up with just lots of blobs of colour with no definition. So do try and keep it as simple as you can. Now there's a nice dark spot just around here, and take a little bit of black and put a nice dark spot there maybe, and there, and then let's go back in with some burnt umber and black and bring these straight down like this right in front of that green. Now the trick with perspective, especially with a fence like this, is the further down it comes, or the further close to you, it gets wider and wider, okay? So we start off small, and we make it nice and wide as it comes down, you see? And already we have perspective, you can see it. You can see it immediately. And let's put another one here. So you can just push right down hard with your brush, and then as it comes further, you can make it twice the width, you see? So we're getting there already. It's just that simple. Just keep telling yourself, keep it simple, keep it simple. We have another big post around here. And then I'm going to bring that across onto this one. And we've got another one here. Again, keeping it nice and simple. And don't worry that I'm doing everything very dark, because I will be adding lots of lights onto these in a moment, and then it will really start to come to life. Okay, so I'm just doing everything here now with just a very thin burnt umber. Okay, plenty of turps. Don't be afraid of the turpentine. And let's go over here and put a nice couple along in front of this here, following the angles. And let's just put a couple very, very roughly, very quickly. Okay, we have a couple coming along. Let's give one or two of them a bend. Perhaps add a touch of black. Okay, we're getting there, aren't we? Slowly but surely. And I know it's tricky working wet into wet, and if you know you're probably struggling with this being all wet, if you are, I would suggest just let it all dry and then do your fences. That's all you have to do, very simple. Now I've got some burnt umber and burnt sienna, a little bit of black on my brush. I'm just going to go along there with that. A little drop of turpentine. Okay, let's give one or two a little wiggle here and there, because look, you have to remember these are probably here for 70 odd years, 60, 70 years, so they're going to be pretty kind of battered and broken and bent over time, so they won't be absolutely perfect, no way. Let me see, let's just make that a bit bigger. See, I'm just kind of adding bits and pieces as I go. Just it's all about making it look very, very busy and making it look like there's something happening. And you know, I watch a lot of tutorials myself on YouTube, and a lot of them are fantastic, but they try to go into too much detail completely, and it just kind of confuses people in the end. Right, I'm going to put another one of these just here, right, just for a moment, and I'm going to bring one off of that this way, okay? Well, that'll do fine. We also have one or two coming down this way, don't we? So let's just get nice and wide as they come further to us, okay, or closer to us. Let's go nice and wide with them, see? And let's imagine that there's one in the middle kind of broke down, it's going down here into the grass, and there's one here coming along there. Alright, now that's the basic outline of all our fences. The next job is start adding some darks and lights, okay? So simple. Let's just take some black. Let's just go with some nice simple black, and let's just go over here and start adding little touches of black here and there. Now they are very dark in a lot of places. It is very dark. Let's just add a little smidgen of black. Now perhaps a touch of burnt sienna as well, and we can really go to town then with the shadows, you see? Just very, very kind of quick and very loose. Okay, let's put a nice shadow on the back of this. And remember, we are going to be adding some lights as well, so don't worry, don't go too over the top with the shadows, okay? Just look, a little flick here, a little flick there. One or two just here and there. Let's put one on the back of that. Now, I know they're not big changes, but when the lights go on there, then the highlights, you'll notice it straight away. One or two just underneath some of these. Not all of them, but some of them, okay? Right, I think that'll do for now. Let's zoom back slightly now. There we go. And now I'm going to just start adding some little highlights. And the highlight colour I'm going to use is quite simple. Some Naples yellow and lots of white, okay? Now let's just try that first. I might take a touch of magenta. Okay, the tiniest little touch, a hint of magenta. So we have this very whitey, salmony type of a colour. Okay? Now let's try it first. It might not look right the first time, and we can fix it. Let's just try it. Now that's a little bit bright, isn't it? But you see, what I'm doing is I'm going to let it merge into the colours which are already there. You understand what I mean? So it's softening itself into those browns, and it's giving us some lovely warm tones. Now clean your brush when it starts getting really dirty, alright? There we go. You see, it's just a little hint, and then we come across those ones and we come across those like so. Isn't that lovely? And let's put a couple of little highlights off in the distance, one or two up here on these. See, I'm just kind of hitting the canvas, that's all. I'm just hitting, just dab there, little dab there, and then for this one here, let's just come along and lean right down. Again, clean the brush in between, pick up more paint, and then go again. So now you can see already what we have achieved just in those couple of seconds. You see? It's just nice and simple. Now I do want to get a little hint of a mauve, so I'm taking a touch of blue and a touch of crimson, okay, with lots of white. And I'll show you now why I'm doing this. I want to complement the mauvey colours which are in the hills, so I'm taking a hint of blue with plenty of red and some white. And I have this bluey kind of a colour. I'm going to put a hint of that just on one or two of the fences, okay? Just a hint. And that will then bounce off of those colours up there. Now that's probably even enough. In fact, it's maybe too blue. I'll take a touch of white and go over one or two of them with some white as well. Now how about that? That's a bit better, isn't it? Now there's one more thing I want to do. I want to soften these into the grass, look, just a little, here and there. Just soften them very slightly into the grass, so that they're not just kind of floating in mid-air, you see? Just soften them into the wet paint underneath, that's all. Okay, that one is fine, that's fine there. And I might add a touch of that bright bluey colour which I just used on the roof just up here. Now it's a bit blue, so it's a very light blue, okay? Just again to catch the light and to help just separate it a little bit more from those hills in the background. And you can even just use your finger as well, soften them down, there we go, soften them across. And that, my friends, I would say is about the size of it. Let me take a little bit of light, that light colour, and add maybe one or two lights off in the distance, just to bring those to life a little bit. Okay. And how are we looking now? I suppose we've got to put one or two birds in the sky, will we? And that will add a nice little bit of life to it as well. Let's make three birds off in the distance, and I think that's pretty good. Now you could keep working on certain parts if you weren't happy. I could maybe lighten some of the lights here on this, just give them a little bit more sparkle, a little bit more brightness, okay? You know, everything helps. But I think that's fine. I think that's a wonderful success. Now, there's one more thing I need to do, and I need to sign my name to this. S. Conway. And thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for watching, and of course thank you for your support. Is there anything else we need to do to this now while we're here? Could we perhaps lighten one or two of the pieces of timber here, just to make it a little bit lighter? I'm just dragging a light colour now just very lightly across the canvas, do you know what I mean? Just very lightly. And that looks pretty good. I think that's what we wanted to achieve. I might just darken the shadow just under the roof here, just to make it look like a much deeper overhang. Okay, that's a bit better. Perhaps even soften it a little bit. Yeah, are we happy with that? Let me zoom in and show you what we have created. And I think that's a huge success. I'm very, very happy with that. So there we have a nice simple sky. And nice simple hills in the distance. You can see I kept everything nice and simple. And then we have some nice subtle trees. And just remember, don't overcomplicate anything. I didn't even use my palette knife once. Everything is done by brush. I find a lot of artists they're using the palette knife maybe a little bit too much, and all the paintings look identical, because you can see the palette knife on the mountains in the background every single time. And I think it's nice to try and move outside your comfort zone just a little bit and just try it with a brush. You don't have to use a palette knife all the time. Let me turn this around now and I can speak to you. So you don't need to use a palette knife all of the time. You can just use a brush, little pointy brushes. I think the problem with the palette knife is it's just a little bit too harsh and too severe on things like mountains and that type of stuff. It's okay if you're doing close-up mountains with lots of snow on them. It's lovely for that kind of work, and it's lovely for kind of doing reflections and stuff if you want to do some thick knife work. But I try to stay away from the palette knife as much as I can. I only use my palette knife for ripples on water, perhaps. Very, very odd time I might use it for a hill in the distance, just for the very tips. But I think using a brush has a much nicer effect and a much more softer effect. I think it has a more natural effect as well. You can, if you're used to using a palette knife all of the time, keep using the palette knife, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's nice to try something different. Try something outside of your comfort. Do you know what I mean? Because like that now, when I first started painting, I used a palette knife for everything, for all of my mountains and my snow and my hills and everything. And slowly, bit by bit, as I started using brushes, I found it was much nicer, much more subtle, and it's much easier on the eye as well. And it makes a much more pleasant painting to look at. So just try it. Go on. Thank you so much. I'll see you very, very soon again for another tutorial. Thank you very, very much for all your support. And Kathy, thank you very much for this. It's been an absolute joy. I'll stick a frame on it and I'll put it on my Facebook page. Let's see what happens. Okay? God bless you all. Thank you for supporting me, and have a lovely day wherever you are in the world. Okay? I'll see you all again very soon.